there. As a follow-up of that particular conference, then we have another conference which we concluded just last week. That was on 5th of August. Mr. Mukherjee was also one of the speakers there. So he participated in that event where he highlighted about this particular event which they are organizing. So this was basically the background of how things are developing. There are opportunities in Philippines. So now, as I'll agree with what Abhishek has also said, that while as an Indian company, you have to look at the project more, rather than being only the supplier of, say, one material. That won't be possible. So you have to be the part of a larger supply chain which is working here. So now, as I go through the trade data here, I see that the Philippines is importing cement, bulk of cement. It's coming 90% from Vietnam. Philippines is importing iron steel. A good portion is coming from India also. The Philippines is importing ceramics worth more than $1 billion, almost more than $1.5 billion a year, and the bulk is coming from China. So now the point is that this is a market which I don't think so that the Indian companies they have looked at from the construction perspective. So last time when we had this conference on 5th August, many of the leading construction companies from Philippines, they were present there. And I think so, if the ICC member companies, they want to participate with them, we can share their email IDs, their contact details, and maybe once these travel restriction and the pandemic ease off, maybe some travel delegation, there can be a visit of some delegation from the ICC to the Philippines where you can actually come and meet with the concerned agencies and the companies. Because right now, through these business conferences which we have been doing, and we got a very good amount of media coverage here in the local press. So a perception has developed about the Indian capabilities. Now, the point is that how these Indian companies can come and play a more proactive role in the infrastructure development. So there's a lot of work here. And I think so there is a lot of opportunity for Indian companies. But I think so as an industry, you need to come and take a very close look. And then you can decide. And as an embassy, we can always work as a facilitator. We can help you, we can guide you, we can provide you the necessary information. But what we say that the actual business transactions can be carried out by the companies. We as the mission, we can only facilitate. So far we have tried to bring in these conferences so that the companies in the Philippines knows about the companies in India, and the companies in India, they know about companies in the Philippines. And maybe these engagements can serve as a larger, what can you say, open a pathway for greater engagement in the Southeast Asia. So with these words, I would like to conclude my remarks. So many thanks to you, Mr. Mukherjee, for giving this opportunity to address this August. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Singh. I think we will definitely try and work out more inclusive engagements with companies in Philippines. I think one of the very major international program that you have in Philippines, and we had gone with a very decent participation a few years back, is called Construct that you have in Philippines, which is one of the largest shows in the construction industry in Philippines. So I think with our senior vice president and other office bearers, we can definitely plan a small delegation around that time when we can probably meet up with a lot of these construction companies, not only in Philippines, but also from various ASEAN nations. So we will definitely keep that in mind, and we will definitely plan.
I'd like to add something here, Bodhi. I think both our first secretaries who have so much of ground knowledge of both these countries, I think it is the mid-size, apart from the large-size contractors, if you can take the mid-size contractors to the 2-3 neighboring countries,
right.
Get them there. I think there could be huge opportunities, especially in Nepal, even in Philippines and things like that. Apart from just, supply chain. Supply chain will then automatically grow. If the contractors start working, the supply chains will automatically grow.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Definitely. So we'll plan this with you and how we can take a small delegation to these countries once the situation improves and the pandemic is behind us. So with this, I think we will move on to the chair of the ASEAN India Business Council, Mr. Indranil Sengupta, for his address. Over to you, Mr. Sengupta.
Thank you, Mr. Mukherjee, and apologies once again for the confusion between the Vietnam and the India time. First of all, I would like to thank you for this opportunity, especially Mr. Pradeep Surekha, Mr. Mukherjee, and all our esteemed excellencies from different embassies who are there in this panel. This topic, let me step back and try to explain where my views are coming from. So I graduated in 1992. That's when the liberalization just kicked off. And half of my time I worked in India and half outside India. And we have seen how the consumption-led growth started happening after 1991 in India. And that had a great benefit, and our economy sort of progressed by leaps and bounds over the years. And that's primarily was driven by the domestic consumption. And we really need not, at those times, we didn't need to step outside or look outside for the organizations or the corporates to flourish, because the domestic consumption was really every year, I mean, till date, we had a very credible GDP growth. And at the same time, what was happening in the rest of the world was, especially the developed economies, which had plateaued in their own domestic consumption, were stepping out. So, even the newly formed or newly acquired status of a developed economies like Korea and Japan, Singapore, they were all, and of course the West, they were all stepping out of their own boundaries and trying to get markets in, which is much beyond their comfort area. Probably for them, it was the need of the hour or need of the day to step out of their own countries and comfort areas, because their own domestic demands were plateauing or not going at a very significant 5% plus GDP growth. And what happened is that we, as a country, as India, we did incredibly well, but we also became very inward looking. We didn't really step out. If you try to think about how many Indian companies are there which are globally known or has a footprint or has a brand recall globally, like a GE or a Toyota or Hyundai or a Samsung. Probably, except for Tata, I don't see anybody having such high brand recall like compared to these big corporates, the names which I mentioned. Also, all these exporting countries were rationalizing their cost of delivery, and people were going into trade agreements. For example, WTO was the start, but there have been many more trade agreements. Whereas for India, after 2009, which was the last trade agreement we signed, if I'm not mistaken, which was a ASEAN-India FTA, we have not signed any other trade agreements. So in a way, while we may be competitive domestically, we have become not so competitive outside the country. Because even a country, let's say like let's say now if you talk about ASEAN, most of the countries are signatories to one or more FTAs. Leading the pack is, of course, Singapore, and then comes Vietnam, and then comes Malaysia. So there, each one of these countries are covering almost around 50% of the global GDP, while their own GDP is quite small. Now, that is where the theater is shifting. So the countries who have signed more number of FTAs are where people are trying to set up manufacturing units so that they get the advantage of the FTAs to have a lower cost of delivery. Having said that, so what should Indian corporates do, including this construction sector which we are talking about? First of all, just now I heard, in fact, Mr. Kumaran gave a very good example about Philippines. Philippines being part of ASEAN, and like he said, maximum number of cement comes from Vietnam, and that all because of. Is that the Indian cement are less competitive? No. Where they're getting lost out is the last mile in the taxation, import tax. So even right now, if we try to enter into a market, we really have to be competitive so that we can counter China and other countries, like whether it's Vietnam or Malaysia or Indonesia, because their cost of delivery, because of the last mile cost, which is the import duties, is becoming more competitive than our Indian suppliers. The other point also, which Mr. Kumar made, is a very valid point, which is about nobody is buying today one item. Either you give the full OEM package, or you are an EPC, or you're an investor. So just buying one, just let's say, just cement or just steel or just tiles is not the order of the day today. So because people want to they don't want to have multiple tenders or multiple purchasing packages running, because at the end of the day, project is more about timelines, and of course cost is important, but still timelines is more important, and successful completion through proper coordination. The more number of packages, either supply package or contractor package they have, the more the headache is much more. So we need to, I completely agree with what Mr. Kumar and said, as a first stage, we need to bundle our offerings. Cannot be a single item play. And the next step is that we should try to do a EPC. So not only we are supplying, but we should do also EPC. And the third phase should be, we should do an investment to take benefit of the lower cost of delivery. So investment, when I'm saying investment, means that we can put up construction material manufacturing units in some of these countries in ASEAN who are signatories to maximum number of FTAs. Hence, and not only we cater to the ASEAN demand, but we also cater to, let's say Vietnam has an FTA, forget the ASEAN FTA, but it's a RCEP, it has CPTPP, it has EU FTA, it has a Korean FTA, it has a UK FTA. So, and Canada and all these countries, Australia, Canada, they all come under the CPTPP. So that's the final stage. But till the time, and I completely understand the sensitivities of ours signing FTAs, because we have certain domestic audiences, and those sensitivities have to be taken care of. So what do the corporates do? I think this is the time that's come to step out, and more so, we have seen COVID. COVID is, I do not subscribe to the fact that COVID will change the supply chain structure significantly. No, it will not. But it's more from, we have seen what a COVID can do to the domestic demand, and we have seen that in India. One COVID can do in 1 year time how the domestic demand has gone down, and COVID will come back in different names. Let's be, there'll be COVID now, next year it'll be David, or 5 years later it'll be some other name, and hence we need to put our eggs in different baskets, and hence COVID is a wake-up call for our Indian corporates who are pretty good. I mean, our quality, we are competitive, we are quality conscious, but we have not really sort of impregnated the markets outside India in a significant way. There are people who have done it, but like I said, the only company group in India which can be compared with a global brand recall like a GE or a Toyota or a Hyundai or a Samsung is probably Tata's to some extent. So my view is that take COVID as just one example of a warning call of please do not focus all your production capacity based on the domestic demand. As a first step, let's go out, be aggressive, let's crack those markets which we have never been to. And you'll be surprised to find that, some of the Indian products, some of the companies who have actually stepped into this part of the world have done incredibly well because our quality is really good, but it's just that nobody knows about it. I mean, why people would still take Chinese products? Because then you have the alternatives of the G7, which are expensive, but we come somewhere in between. And that's why, and this gap was there, and that's why, Vietnam has come into the whole picture because, like, again, they're producing cement at a very competitive rate, competing with China, and they're producing other textiles and hand phones and things like that. And they're taking full utilization of the fact that they are signatories to so many number of FTAs. This is a thought I want to leave with for everybody because, we have these webinars, but I think we need to step back and think where we are going wrong or what we can do much better to structurally change our thinking of how to do business outside India. With that, I would close my deliberation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Sengupta. I think we will take a few more minutes for all the dignitaries. I would just want to take you through a tour of the virtual expo before we close the inaugural session. So this will just be an idea as to how we conduct the virtual exhibitions we have been doing for the last 1.5 years. So I would request our partners to please take us to the platform and take a round of the virtual expo.
Thank you, sir. Myself, Govinda Sadamate. I will be taking you through the virtual tour of the platform. Okay, I'm sharing the screen now. Okay, so welcome to India econstruct Expo by ICC. So I hope everybody is able to see the screen that I'm showcasing right now. So this is the landing page of the exhibition. The exhibition is already live. You can log on to the website abli-expo.com/ICC events, and you can go through the exhibition. There is a visitor registration, which is just a 2-step process for the exhibition, and it then shows various product categories that we have in the expo, like tiles and ceramic is one of the category, and we have our major partners like Duro, Panasonic, and Captiva. So this is the landing page which will take you through the gist of the entire exhibition, and in order to get in, participant has to log in. So just I am logging in like a visitor just to visit the platform, and on this platform all the visitors are verified pre-registered buyers, so that every exhibitor in the platform gets a good experience and good business from the participation. So here is I am just getting in. So here is how I get inside the exhibition, and now I will just showcase how visitors would go through various participants' stalls. Now these are the this is the list of all the participants, starting with Captiva Energy, and there are many participants like you can see on this platform. So I will
Govinda,
just take,
you need to focus on one particular stall and
yes,
explain the dignitaries on the key features and benefits.
correct, sir, correct, sir. So I'll just get you to one stall, how visitors would see the stall. So welcome to Captiva Energy. The stall is loading. Okay, so we have created a simple visual for every participant, which includes the name of the owner on the top, and there is a representation of the stall in between. Just pardon me for the loading time it's taking, because I am on the Zoom call. Generally, when a participant visits the expo, he will get a clear and a quick loading time for loading the documents for the expo. So on the exhibition, where there is a we have created a stall image where there is a video in the middle. Just let it load. Just give me a second. So as you can see, we'll start from the left panel till the time the documents get loaded, because there is basically the network is shared between Zoom and this. So that's why this is taking time. So a visitor can always chat with the participant through the chat window and can say send the introduction message to the participant, so that participant can reply to the visitor in real time. Then there is exchange visiting card facility, when the card of the participants and the visitors can be exchanged online. So when I click on exchange card, the card is exchanged online through emails. So every visitor will have the card of participant and vice versa. Then there is a contact us facility, where every visitor will get to see the contact details of the participant, and they can connect offline as well. And there is a very unique facility of scheduling online meetings. So anybody who wants to schedule online meeting with the between buyer and seller, they will just choose the date, schedule time, and request for a meeting. Then the meeting request will be sent to the participant, and upon the approval, the meeting links will be shared to both the parties automatically, and they can connect online just like we connected for this meeting right now. And on the right side, there is a tags list of product list, aviation, healthcare, railways, and there is a product showcase. So on the product showcase, we have details of products of a particular participant, photos, and various products. N number of products can be displayed here in the display. The products can be showcased, and there is a view products button. When I click that, I redirect to the product catalog of the particular company on their website. So I can now see detailed product of the participants. And there is also a document gallery where yes, so now the products catalogs were not loading in the first stall, but on the second stall they have loaded properly. So this is how the stall looks like. So in the middle there is a video. So when we play the video, it plays it in a pop-up. So I can go through the 2-minute video to understand more about the company. So once I understand about the company, I can go through the catalogs. So catalog of the company can be seen. It can be downloaded for later reference by clicking download. Then there is a company profile also on the left side. So I can see the company profile and I can download it for my later reference. And there is a logo and everything. Now to go to the next stall, we can just keep going to the next stall and explore various companies with and we can also scroll through the companies on the top and go to a particular stall we want to see, and that stall will load up again. So now again, I can, for every stall, I can go through all the documents and keep whatever documents I want in my system downloaded. So like this, we are going to facilitate the visitors to interact one-to-one with all the participants that we have. There is also on the top left corner, there is also the link to the LinkedIn profile of the owner of this stall or the participant, the representative of the participant. I can go directly on the LinkedIn account of the concerned representative, and I can connect offline as well. So this is how we have created the effective display of the entire platform. And we welcome you to see the exhibition, to visit the exhibition, to connect with all the exhibitors in the exhibition, and have a good experience of B2B connections. Thank you.
Thank you, Govinda. I think we just had a very quick virtual tour and some basics which have been explained. And I have already shared the link of the Expo with our embassies in Nepal as well as in Philippines. And I have also shared the details with Mr. Sengupta and Mr. Taparia in Vietnam. So I would really urge if more and more companies from these countries, as well as, of course, from other parts of the world, they would be logging in. And I'm sure the Indian exhibitors who would be displaying and be available to tie up and explore opportunities, I think this would be a good forum for exchanging views and looking at future options. So I think with this, we come to the end of the inaugural session. And we have had a wonderful discussion where we've understood the opportunities that are there in ASEAN nations in terms of not only Indian exports, but also in terms of how we could, look at various projects, especially in Nepal, where Indian companies could bid and back them. So I think we will share these informations with our members and with companies, especially the mid-sized companies, which are into various projects. I'm sure this will really be helpful in days to come. So thank you very much, Mr. Taparia, for your kind presence and address to the First Secretary of India in Nepal, Mr. Abhishek Upadhyay. Thank you very much, Mr. Nishikant Singh, who had to join at a very short notice because of sudden ambassador's pre-engagement which came up. And we are also thankful for Mr. Sengupta, who could manage his time, though there was an initial confusion, and who could come and address us. And thank you, Mr. Surekha, our Senior Vice President of ICC, for your time and for your participation in this. And I would like to thank all the exhibitors who have taken up stalls and look forward to active engagement in the next 6-7 days. And my sincere thanks to our partners for this exhibition, the Anchor by Panasonic and Captiva, which are diesel generator sets powered by Perkins. Thank you very much for your active cooperation. Thank you very much. With this, we come to the end of the inaugural session and look forward to active participation in the next 6-7 days. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.